A single accessory at the wedding changes everything. A missing necklace reveals a hidden transformation. And one quiet scene after the credits confirms a twist almost no one was ready for. Bridgerton Season 4 Part 2 is filled with secrets hiding in plain sight, and if you blinked, you missed them. Today we're uncovering 20 shocking details you didn't see in Bridgerton Season 4 Part 2, and some of them completely change the future of the Bridgerton family. One tiny brooch, one missing necklace, one post-credit scene almost no one expected. Bridgerton Season 4 Part 2 is hiding secrets in plain sight, and some of them completely change how we see the characters. From silent book references to symbolic wardrobe choices, from shocking production decisions to clues about future romances, this season is far deeper than it looks. Today, we're uncovering 20 details you definitely missed in Bridgerton Season 4 Part 2, and some of them will change everything. The final wedding scene gives us one of the most emotional hidden details of the entire season. If you look closely at Benedict's cravat, you will notice a small brooch shaped like a kite. This is not a random accessory. It is a direct reference to the afternoon he and Sophie flew a kite together earlier in the season. According to Luke Thompson, that simple moment was one of the only times the two characters felt truly free. The kite represents innocence, escape, and a brief pause from social pressure. In a season filled with expectations, status, and sacrifice, that small symbol reminds us of a time when they were just two people enjoying each other's company. The fact that Benedict chooses to wear that memory on his wedding day shows that he is not marrying Sophie out of duty, but out of love, rooted in that pure connection. John Sterling's sudden death is another moment layered with subtle meaning. The show never clearly explains the medical cause, but readers of the books know that he dies from a brain aneurysm. This detail matters because a brain aneurysm is sudden, invisible, and nearly impossible to predict in that historical period. The writers intentionally chose a cause of death that creates confusion and helplessness. John only complains about a headache, which makes his passing even more shocking. There's no long illness, no dramatic goodbye. His death reflects the unpredictability of life in the Regency era. It also creates emotional chaos for Francesca, who is left without answers. The silence surrounding her condition makes the loss feel even heavier. But was this randomness truly just tragedy? Or was it carefully designed to push another character toward a forbidden love? After John's death, the show introduces a pregnancy scare for Francesca, but then quickly reveals it was a false alarm. In the books, however, this storyline is far more devastating. Francesca actually becomes pregnant and then suffers a miscarriage shortly after losing her husband. The series chose to soften this event, possibly to avoid overwhelming viewers with too much darkness in one season. By removing the miscarriage, the show protects Francesca from experiencing double grief at once. Yet this change also shifts the emotional weight of her journey. Instead of being crushed completely, she remains suspended in uncertainty. That subtle difference changes how we will see her in future seasons. The question now becomes, are the writers saving her deepest pain for later? The final shot of the season focuses on the completed portrait of Sophie. This painting is not just decoration, it represents Benedict's internal transformation. At the beginning of the season, he had given up on many things: painting, music, and even serious love. He constantly abandoned passions when they became difficult. But finishing Sophie's portrait symbolizes commitment. He no longer walks away from what matters to him. The painting shows Sophie holding her mask in her hand instead of wearing it. This small adjustment carries powerful symbolism. Throughout her life, Sophie hid her true identity to survive. Now, in the portrait, she stands proudly, without needing to conceal herself. Benedict paints her not as a mystery, but as someone fully seen and accepted. And if you look even closer, the lighting in the portrait mirrors the soft glow from their first meeting at the masked ball. Coincidence or intentional visual poetry? Sophie's necklace is another detail that quietly drives the entire season. The production team originally considered giving her a diamond, something flashy and traditionally elegant, but they rejected the idea because it would not make sense for a girl who lived as a servant. A diamond would have been too noticeable, too risky to hide. Instead, they chose an amethyst. This stone is subtle, less common, and easier to overlook. The choice also helps Benedict eventually recognize her identity. The necklace becomes the key to solving the mystery of the masked woman. It is simple yet unforgettable. But here's the detail many viewers missed. When Sophie appears in her blue society gown after discovering her noble heritage, she is no longer wearing her mother's necklace. Instead, she wears one lent by Lady Bridgerton. This change is symbolic. Sophie is not abandoning her past, but she is stepping into a new family. Blue, the Bridgerton signature color, wraps her in belonging. The necklace shift signals a transfer of identity. She is no longer surviving alone. She is being embraced. But if Sophie has finally found her place, why does the season end with a hint that not everything in the Bridgerton world is as secure as it seems? The intimate bath scene between Benedict and Sophie is far more meaningful than it first appears. On the surface, it is romantic and vulnerable, but according to the production team, this moment was designed to reverse social power. Sophie spent her entire life serving others, washing, dressing, and caring for members of the upper class. In this scene, Benedict does the opposite. He washes her hair, he kneels beside her, he takes care of her. In a society built on strict hierarchy, this gesture quietly breaks class boundaries. He is no longer just a gentleman pursuing a mystery woman. He becomes someone willing to humble himself for love. Even the milky tone of the bathwater was intentional. The crew added a special mixture to achieve that soft white color, but it made everything extremely slippery. Luke Thompson later revealed that he had to physically brace himself for hours to prevent accidents during filming. What looked graceful on screen was actually technically difficult and physically exhausting. That discomfort behind the scenes mirrors the emotional vulnerability we see between the characters. But was this only about romance, or was it showing us how much Benedict is willing to sacrifice? After Penelope steps down, the question of the new Lady Whistledown becomes one of the biggest mysteries of the season. The show does not confirm her identity, but it drops several hints. Alice Mondrick suddenly receives more screen time and is even shown offering gossip directly connected to the Queen. That moment feels deliberate. Alice moves comfortably between social classes, making her the perfect candidate to observe both high society and common life. Unlike Penelope, who operated from the shadows, Alice already has social access. The writers seem to be positioning her as someone capable of controlling information in a new way. If she becomes the next Whistledown, it would shift the tone of the scandal sheets entirely. Instead of secret resentment, we might see strategic intelligence. But here's the real question. If the Queen suspects a new Whistledown is rising, will she try to manipulate her instead of hunting her? Benedict's discovery of Sophie's true identity is also very different from the books. In the series, he connects the clues through her necklace, but in the original novel by Julia Quinn, the reveal happens during a playful game of blind man's bluff at the Bridgerton house. Sophie, working as a maid, covers her eyes during the game, and Benedict recognizes her facial structure and presence as the mysterious woman from the masked ball. The show changed this detail, possibly to make the reveal feel more dramatic and symbolic. The necklace becomes proof that identity cannot stay hidden forever. Jewelry, something small and personal, becomes the key to truth. The adaptation simplifies the moment, but also makes it more visual for television. Still, some fans argue the book version felt more intimate and magical. Did the series improve the reveal or lose some of its charm? Michaela's sudden departure at the end of the season carries deeper meaning. In the novels, her character is originally Michael Sterling, who flees to India after developing feelings for Francesca after John's death. He feels guilty for loving his cousin's widow. The show keeps that emotional conflict, but adapts it for its new version of the character. Michaela's exit is not random. It mirrors the internal struggle of loving someone at the wrong time. By leaving, she attempts to protect herself and both Francesca from scandal and shame. The silence between them in those final moments says more than dialogue ever could. It is not rejection, it is fear. But if distance was meant to end those feelings, why did the camera linger so long on Francesca's expression? For the first time in the series, we received a post-credit scene, Benedict and Sophie's wedding. This creative decision was intentional.